Welcome back to the wildlands, and in tonight's episode we're building again. Stay tuned to see what we build.
I take you around the seedlings, give you a little update and a peek around the garden as well to see what's been growing really well.
And I'm back with plants for free, and this week it's lavenders for free. And I also take you into the greenhouse, similar to Missy, for a peek at what's been growing and getting larger there. Back to the wildlands on what is a gorgeous, you'd think middle of summer's day, but God, it's not even the middle of April.
Nope. It's certainly gotten hot.
Yeah, it's got hot. Yeah, yesterday was 32 degrees in the shade house, so it's stopped play a lot of the time in the middle of the day, isn't it?
It does. Yeah, it's almost to the point where we need to go and have a siesta in April. It's so silly,
crazy, isn't it? So a bit of a catch up today. We want to show you a few things that we've not filmed over the last couple of weeks, and also catch you up on how Missy's carrots and radishes are doing that you planted a few weeks ago.
Yep.
A little update on what's in the cold frame.
Yeah, peek at the seedlings.
And what have we been building today?
Oh, we've got a new, it was just a passing thought. We went, oh, wouldn't it be nice to create a bit of shade in the garden? And then we found that trellis.
We did.
That we used as part of the arbour last year, and we decided let's put a little trellis wall up.
So reusing the arbour that we took down that was just behind where we're sat, if you remember in the first version of the fruit forest. It's nice to reuse stuff, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it was, well, bizarrely, it was the perfect size, wasn't it? And so the idea is that's going to create some shade, isn't it? And we'll show you how in a minute.
And the other thing that I liked about it is that it breaks up the garden.
Yeah.
I've been reading lots and lots of books about landscaping and foodscaping and so on, and one of the things that they suggest is instead of having your hole open ready to see straight away, you break it up so you have structures. So we have our hoop house, and when it's covered in peas, that'll do one, and then this trellis will mean that you have to go right down to the trellis and peek round to see what's behind what's around the corner. Yeah, it's nice.
It is nice. And before we take you down there to show you how we built that, I'd just like to thank everyone who wished me a happy birthday. Had an absolutely wonderful day. It was great. Had a really good party. Missy cooked some lovely food, and we had a sort of tapasy, snacky thing going on.
Oh yeah.
And it was alcohol free, wasn't it? Which was great. You know, we all sat around. It's very polite, wasn't it? So it was. I think my parties are becoming legendary now, aren't they? Everybody says what a great time they had. So thanks so much to everybody that wished me a happy birthday. I had a great day.
It was good.
So let's go down and have a look at our new trellis.
Yeah.
Our next job in the garden is we're putting up a divider made out of trellis. Trellis we're recycling or reusing, and it came from our old arbour from last year's old garden, and we've taken off the roof and we're going to make a trellis. Put up 3 very long poles, and the trellis is going to be 6 foot or 2 meters high, and it's also going to double up as a shade area. So on the trellis we're using it to plant things that we can't eat, so we're going to alternate rows of sweet peas and morning glory. Some of you will know morning glory is a poisonous plant, and the seeds, interestingly, are similar to LSD and are quite prized in certain circles. Not tried it myself, but the idea is it's also a wonderful plant for pollinators, so it attracts butterflies and bees, and also the dew and the water collects in its beautiful trumpet flowers, which gives bees and other insects somewhere to go for a drink on a hot summer's day. And it does get very big, so it's going to be a screen to give us shade on this bed behind us.
sunflowers are getting big. Look. And you can see we've alternated them as best we could between the different types. So some of them are red, some of them are yellow, some are giant, some are dwarf, and some are double, which means they're fluffy like a teddy bear. And they've only been in the ground just over a week, and they're doing really, really well. And just taking a little peek at the peas, which are doing so very well. The oldest peas are nearly a foot high already. Some of them have got little tiny flowers on, which means we're going to get peas very soon. And I just recently put in a whole new batch, and they're just an inch high. So these guys will give us peas, and then a little bit in a few weeks' time, the other ones will as well. Really, really happy with how these are going. And the salads too, it's all just getting huge.
So we called this raspberry row, and it's basically the end of the terrace next to the cold frame, overlooking the sunflowers that we were just looking at. And we planted 8 raspberries. 3 different types. So these ones here are common red raspberries, and they will fill out and sucker all along the bottom and form a kind of hedge. They are quite invasive and quite vigorous. And then at the end here we have white raspberries, and then the last 3 at the very end down there are black raspberries. And black raspberries are very similar to blackberries, and the difference is they don't have thorns on the plant, and the fruit is much larger and vigorous. Theoretically, we'll find out very soon what our raspberries are like. So yeah, very pleased. More berries, got lots of berries now, got hundreds of strawberries, and now a lot more raspberries, so all great.
It's been about a month since we redid this bed and sowed all the seeds, and I'm really pleased with my progress. Radish are up, and in the next couple of weeks we'll be eating them. Most of my carrots have come up, of all 4 different types, and the spring onions as well. So it's going really, really well in here.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Plants for Free, where I show you the many ways that you can get lots of plants for free. And in tonight's episode I'm looking at the lavender, and that could be French lavender or any of the lavenders, or equally any softwood cuttings from woody perennials, so rosemaries and sages, etc. So today we're looking at the humble lavender, a beautiful plant here. This is a pioneer plant in Portugal. This is a French lavender. This one is huge and grows particularly well because on my left here we have IBCs that sometimes leak and the water runs down here. So it's very simple to propagate lavender late winter or early spring before it sets to flower, and you literally cut off a stem with new growth on the top, and then we're going to remove all the bottom leaves. So I'm just going to do lots of cuttings first, and then I'm going to take them down to the greenhouse and I'll show you how you can get lavenders for free. So I'm in the greenhouse now and I've got my lavender cuttings. So I've got 3 or 4 inches. Anything over 2 is good. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to remove the bottom third of the leaves. You can keep those if you want to put them in your sock drawer and make it smell nice. And then I'm going to put half my cuttings into soil and half into water and see which root the quickest. And I'll come back in a week or 2 and I'll show you the result. So we've got 5 or 6 cuttings in water and about 30 cuttings in 2 pots. I'm going to give them a water, and we'll come back in a couple of weeks and see what's rooted and which has rooted the quickest. So see you in 2 weeks.
Time for a seedling update over at the cold frame. Let's see, what have we got to show you? This little guy I'm particularly proud of. This is a valerian. It's the only one that I've managed to grow from about 20 seeds that I sowed, but it's doing really, really well. And valerian's exciting because you can, when it's big enough, you can harvest the leaves, dry them, and then use them for tea to help you sleep. I have to show you these. Get really close here. You see these teeny, 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 tiny seedlings? Those are the baby strawberries that I showed you in a tray last week. And I had to prick them out. There's about 24 of them, and I had to take one at a time out and put them in these modules with different compost where they'll grow. They probably won't actually go out in the garden until next year. That's how slow they grow. Next up is a tray of chamomile, similar to the baby strawberries. You can just see they're proper chamomile leaves. And they were ready for pricking out about 2 weeks ago, but I've just been so busy I haven't had time. I'm hoping the roots aren't too tangled. Another exciting one is this, which is a little rhubarb. And here you can see he's got a little red stem and a little rhubarb leaf. So he's been a little bit munched by something. He seems to be growing really well. He can go out in the ground when he's 10 centimeters tall. He's got a bit of a ways to go yet. Next up we have, I showed you these last time we had this little seed update. This is my watercress. Look how big it's gotten. These are all ready for potting on. You can see he's got all roots coming out the bottom. And on the stem here, you see that? He's got roots coming out of his stems. So he's desperate for a really, really big pot. So that's another job for this week. These are all climbing nasturtiums, and they're going to go up the side of the hoop house. Then we've got some sweet peas that are going to go up the new trellis. More nasturtiums here. These are ornamental cabbages. Rosie gave me a packet of ornamental cabbage seeds for Christmas, and they've all come up, and I have to decide where to put them because you can't eat them, but they're going to look fabulous. The baby strawberries I showed you. At the back we've got a whole load of peppers. They need potting on. Oh, this one. This is an interesting experiment. This is a lemongrass, which is really big, and he's been grown in this little propagator. And then down here is a lemongrass that was sown and germinated at the same time, but he has not been in a propagator. So I've learned next year they will go in the propagator. Now all of these pots here, apart from the two at the back, these are all different chili peppers. I've got two varieties. At the back I've got West Lancer Langeroot, which is a Dutch variety, and here I've just got cayennes. I discovered last year that chili peppers grow really, really well here in this climate with minimal water. We had huge, huge plants, but I only had 2 or 3, and I didn't get around to picking the chilies big enough. I was being a bit greedy, letting them get bigger and bigger and riper, and then the rains came and they sort of turned to mush. So this year I've tripled the amount of plants that I have, and I've set myself an end date when I'm going to go around and I'm going to pick all of the peppers. And my plan is to, some of them we can eat fresh and just pick them as you go throughout the season, but most of them I'm going to dehydrate and I'm going to try turning them into chili powder. And that's probably going to give us enough chili powder for about 10 years. A little bit further along in the cold frame, we have these. I can't claim credit for this. This is one of Rosie's. It's absolutely enormous. It's covered in flowers. And she says that these are either pumpkins or squash or gourds. And they're a bit of a mystery, but I'm amazed at how huge they are. They just need planting out in Rosie's little garden. And the final thing to show you are my brassicas. These guys, they're either, this one is an early purple sprouting broccoli and the other ones are Calabrese broccoli, and they are all ready to go out in the garden. So that's my next job for today. I brought all the brassicas down here. This is where they're going to go. They're a little bit sheltered by this wall. They get a little bit of shade from the wall and the surrounding trees, and they grew really, really well here last year. So I'm just going to send you over to have a look in the polytunnel at Dom's seeds while I get these in the ground.
So welcome back into the polytunnel, where it's already very hot and it's not even 10 o'clock. So I thought I'd give you a very quick update on how the plants in here and the seedlings are doing. So let's have a little look-see. So at the back here, we've got our fig cuttings, which you've seen once before. And the one on the far right there is one that we took from the food forest just a couple of months ago, and it's already got leaves, so it looks like it's rooting, whereas the other ones are still dormant. They do take a year to root. So most of this here is rosies, so we've got a lot of tomatoes, some sweet williams, eggplant, one up, more peppers, and then a lot of mixed things that she's already planted out, including some zinnias. Back here I'm experimenting, and I've got 6 peanuts that I planted 2 weeks ago. No sign of life yet, so I'll report back on whether peanuts do or don't grow well in central Portugal when I know. So here we've got all my various bananas, which are now eagerly awaiting to go out in the banana circle. So we've got 2 Musa Basjos, we've got 2 cold hardy Chinese bananas, then over here we've got 3 Canary edible bananas, which are my most exciting ones because they should fruit after about a year and a half if we're very lucky, and I'll show you how soon. And then I've got 2 red bananas, so they're waiting to go in, but they're all doing very well. And lastly, next to the potting bench and in flower here, we've got Rosie's favourite tomato, which she bought. We haven't grown from seed, and that's actually a purple tomato, so she's very excited about that. And he needs to be repotted or put in the ground so that he can get growing his lovely tomatoes.
Ta-da! I got them all in. So we have a little group here of early purple sprouting broccoli, then some Calabrese, broccoli calinaro, some kale, Toscana de Nero, which is otherwise known as dinosaur kale. It's my absolute favourite. Got a big block of those. And then just behind me in the hoop house, I popped in a few more kales just to see if they'll grow better over there or if they grow better over here. Ooh, chuk, 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 chuk. Ooh, chuk, 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 chuk.
Sorry, girls. There's blues.
Got one a bit. What do you think?
Oh, the babies like the strawberries.
Good. Yeah. All gone.
So thanks very much for watching. That's another week on the wildlands, and isn't everything getting big?
It really is a combination of the sun and all the water we're chucking at the garden.
Yeah.
From our fantastic well down the bottom, it really is doing us proud. Everything is bursting into flower, growing really big.
It is looking really nice. And in water updates, while we've been filming this video, we also had what we called a pool party, didn't we?
We did.
and that was actually getting our friends round to help us line our reservoir, which all went a bit pear-shaped. So I'll be editing that up. That'll be our next video. We'll show you what happened with our pool. But as always, I'd like to thank you all very much for your support and for watching our wafflings on the wildlands.
And thanks for your support on Patreon, buy me a coffee as well. It's always very much appreciated. And we're trying our best to get extra content out there and videos out a little bit early for a sneak peek.
Absolutely, and we've been putting out the videos early on Buy Me a Coffee as well recently. So thanks again very much to everyone who does support us there. It's really appreciated.
I think that's probably enough of our wafflings for this week.
Enough of our wafflings.
Hope you enjoyed a look around our garden again.
And we'll see you very soon.
Bye.